One of our favorites, Kathy Helbig of the Kathy Helbig Group, 20-plus years in the real estate business, joins us each week to give us a couple of helpful hints. Good morning, Kathy Helbig.
Good morning. Buying
and selling a home at the same time. How do you do it?
You go slightly insane, yes, but it is completely possible. So in an ideal world, obviously, you want to buy a new home and move and then, deal with the hassle of selling your home because that's less stressful, but not everybody can be in that situation.
Right.
So if you need to do this, the best number one step is call us in way in advance so we can sit down and walk you through all of the options, because I find when I meet with people a lot of times to talk about selling their house, they really haven't thought it all through. They're
right.
kind of like deer in the headlights and just...
I want to sell. Well, where are you going to live? I don't know.
Exactly.
When do you want to sell? I don't know.
Exactly.
Well, how do you? I don't know. Right.
Yeah. So before you start seriously searching for a home, put your current home on the market, make sure you have a solid understanding of your market. That means the house that you're selling and the houses that you're trying to buy. Because the houses that you're trying to buy, they might go in a matter of hours.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So we've got to have some contingency plans for that. A lot of times I find a husband has one idea and the wife has another. One is the worst case scenario is a double move. The other worst case scenario is a double mortgage.
Right.
So we got to sit there and work through all of that. So plan your schedules carefully, but there are ways around this. We can put your house on the market depending on, once I sit down and analyze your best case scenario. So is the double move an absolute no-go? If it is, then you cannot rely on timing, because in a perfect world, it all falls together, but that's a small percentage of the time that it all falls together. And especially the market that we're coming off of a couple of years ago, it tended to work out quite frequently that, we would just put our home on the market, and then when somebody buys it, then we'll go look for a house and
right.
we'll find that house.
Sure.
Well, that's when there used to be a lot of inventory sitting around, a lot to pick from. So now everything goes so quickly, so usually it ends up being that you're going to have to give in to a double move unless you are in a financial situation where you can do a bridge loan, take a home equity loan. But all of those things we need to talk about up front, because if you're going to do a home equity loan, your house can't be on the market.
Right.
So it's got to be off through the process of that whole loan time before it can be in the MLS or have a sign in the yard. So all of this is very early in the process to meet with us so that we can guide you through it. But then another case scenario is you can build it a contingency. It's hard to do, but every once in a while you can put your home on the market, find out what somebody's willing to give you for it, and then say, we'll accept this offer contingent upon us finding suitable housing in the next 48 hours.
Right.
So it gives you a small window to run out and go look for a house really quickly, and then slap down a contract, see what you can negotiate before you're stuck into that other contract, because basically you're homeless if you take that contract and you don't find anything.
If you're selling your home and you have a contract, what's the reasonable amount of time you can push off closing on that home?
Right now you're seeing closings be anywhere from we can still do 30-day closings, even though people out there say you can't do it.
Right, I understand, but I mean, can you say 3 months?
45 to 60 days is the norm. 3 months as your real estate agent, we're going to advise you not to do that, because too many things can happen between now and then. So people lose their jobs, people get divorces, people see other houses that come up on the market.
Right.
So you really don't want to stretch out a closing, if at all possible, more than 60 days, because there's just too many variables there.
Could the future homeowner say, okay, I'll hold off for like 60 days if they could sign something in between?
Yeah, and there's things you can lease back. You can close on the home and then lease it back to the seller, but you've got to have the right buyer that is in a situation that can allow you to do that. If they're selling a house too, then that puts the burden on them for them to go double move for that month or 2 months that you're trying to do that lease back. So it doesn't always work out to do that. It sounds like a great idea, and every once in a while we can do it, but we really have to kind of push you into either double mortgages for the most part, or we're going to do temporary housing. And honestly, the last thing we want to see people do is get so under pressure that they go buy something that they didn't really love.
Bottom line, before you do anything, call Kathy Helbig.
Correct.
Yes.
We will walk you through the steps and make you less stressful.
Sounds like a lot of moving parts and a lot of balls in the air. That's why Kathy Helbig's here. KathyHelbigGroup.com. Her full complement, her full team will help you. 20 years in the business. 314-276-SOLD or KathyHelbigGroup.com. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
742, Big